love, blessings, peace, and prosperity, divine, beautiful soul. Where am I supposed to look at? I think I'm supposed to look at right there. I'm getting used. I'm new. I'm new at this long form content, and I'm doing it from my phone, so that's why this microphone is a little funky for it. I'm new, man, but I'm still gonna do it. I'm not gonna let my newness, and I'm gonna not let like this lack of equipment and all sorts of all that fun get in my way of sharing my message. Because it's Monday morning. I need some extra cafecito. I'm 52 years old, and I'm living in a house full of lots of boxes, and I'm about to move, and spirits guiding the way. And I gotta tell you something, okay? So this is for you, my Gen X ladies, and even my millennial ladies, okay? I want you to listen to me. Come close, come close, come even closer, okay? Mm. I want you to listen so carefully and come so close that you can see my wrinkles. Okay, listen, let me tell you something. Just because something, someone, that could be a place, a job, a relationship, just because it's good for somebody and so many people want that doesn't mean that it's good for you. Does that make sense? Okay, let me give you an example. So 4 years ago, I moved to this small little town. My mom had been living here for a few years. It was really good for her, right? And I left a relationship of 17 years. I needed to heal, and I hibernated in the woods. I had the blessings to be able to live in this beautiful, beautiful, magical place. I mean, it was like Burbo extreme magical place. It was so glorious and gorgeous. What an honor I had to be there. And it was magical. It was so beautiful. Now, it was out of the town. It was up in the woods. Phenomenal. Okay. But the town itself, I couldn't really vibe with it, but it didn't matter. It was the times of early COVID, right? And my mom has a compromised immune system. So it was great for what it was. But then after a couple years, after I started like going through my heal, I mean, I went through intense. I went through like the midlife awakening, the shakeup, and that's really, really intense. I went through this whole spiritual reactivation. I went through, it was intense, and it was a perfect place to be during that. Okay. So as I started feeling myself a little bit and saying like, okay, 2 years in, I'm ready. I'm ready to like re-engage with the world. I'm ready. I feel like, okay, I'm just like fresh and I'm ready, right? And I kept on trying and trying to make connections in this small town, and I felt like, gosh, it's so cool here. There's got to be a way. Like I'm missing something. I checked myself. Like, am I blocking my blessings? Have I been isolated these last couple years so much that I forgot how to interact with humans? Because that's happened a lot for people right during the pandemic. And so many people were like, "Oh my gosh!" Especially when they came to see the place. I mean, the place we lived in was phenomenal, and it was really sad because we tried to buy it and couldn't. And oh, it was a bunch of heartbreak. Anyways, people were like, "Oh my gosh, you're so lucky to live in this town, in this place," and the land itself and this whole area is absolutely phenomenal. So no diss on the land at all, right? More like the people, more like the people, and there's opportunities and things, right? And so people are like, and I was thinking, okay, let's try to get out. Let's try to move. I was looking at all different places where we can move to, but everyone kept on saying, you're so lucky to live there. You're so lucky to live there. You're so lucky to live there. And then I was like, I'm so lucky to live here. I'm so lucky to live here. And I started thinking like something was wrong with me. Like, how come I can't crack the code? How come people aren't inviting me into their circles? There are a lot of people that have circles here. And they have circles of influence, and nobody was inviting me into their circle of influence. Like I couldn't crack the code, and that hadn't happened to me before. In other places, I always like found my way in, and opportunities came to me, and I kept like hitting like roadblocks. But then I kept thinking like everyone says I'm so lucky to live here, and this is so beautiful, and I should be very, grateful to even have this experience. And so we had that place where at that wonderful rental, we couldn't buy it. They asked us to move. We had to get out sooner than later. So another rental came up in the town actually. And so I thought, okay. And I thought, well, maybe I have to be in the town. Maybe I have to be near people. Maybe that's it. Let me give it another shot because there's coolness here. There's a lot of arts activities. There's a lot of things. It's a very magical land. And I was like, I know that I can make it here. I know I can make it, especially with my business and stuff. No, roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. And the thing is now we really got to go, right? We ended up getting this rental in town. It has mold and mildew. It's bad. It's affecting our health really, really bad. The owners aren't going to fix anything. And so it's like, here's the thing is, I knew deep inside, over a year ago that this wasn't the place, that we probably need to get moving, right? But I didn't hear that. I got so caught up in the what ifs and let me try to make it. Let me try to make it. But the thing is, what I've noticed is that spirit will also, they'll push you out because spirit's like, oh no, you thought you were going to stay, but here's this house full of mold and now you really got to go. So I think in life, here's a couple different things. Like, number one, just because, like I said, like I started out, just because someone else really wants it doesn't mean that it's the best thing for you, right? And so listen to that. I really wish I would have just not listened to other people's chatters and not like had this imaginary like way of thinking of trying to make this place work. Number one. But it is what it is, right? And now here we are. We're moving on to a place that Spirit really wants us to be, right? We're going back to the heartland. Number two, the thing is I wish I would have given myself permission to say this is not going to work sooner than later. It's like I kept trying, I kept trying, I kept trying, and I wish I would have just said earlier, even like a year ago, right? And being on 3 years here, I wish on the third year I would have said, you know what? This really is not working, right? This is not working for myself. And I wish I would not have been afraid to make the change. And I think that's the thing. What happened is I was afraid to make the change. I was afraid to make a bigger change. And here we are. We're making that change that I wanted to make a year ago, but I was scared to. And now we're doing it because we got to do it. So I think, realize not everything, even if something's like meant for somebody else, is not meant for you. It may not be of your highest order or where you're vibrating and flowing the best, right? And being honest with that, and that's okay. And the other thing is I got so fixated on what could be here and the fantasy of here that I got distracted from the reality. So in life, you gotta just you got to be honest, right? You got to take the space and make decisions on what flows best for you, and listen to your body and your intuition. The thing is, we're about to go anyways, right? So I guess what we were going to do last year came to be, and now it came at a little bit. That what happened is it came a little bit more forceful, so it was a little more exhausting. So that's why I kind of say I wish I would have done last year, where this year's like we got forced out, like Spirit actually forced us out of this area. So I just want to share that with you. And we're about like 4 days, 5 days away from leaving. Hallelujah, praise the goddesses. So just because it's good for somebody else doesn't mean it's good for you, my love, okay? Remember that. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to my mystical life advice. Peace, love, and everything in between. Bye.